What's up guys, Demon Asylum here, bringing you a new Mass Effect Andromeda video. So yesterday I posted a video going over the full patch notes for 1.05. Now in those patch notes it said that there was multiplayer balances, but unfortunately they didn't actually show those multiplayer balances in that article. There ended up being another article that came out after my video was already done and after the patch came out yesterday, and that was what included all of the actual specific multiplayer balances. So unfortunately I have to do a second video here, but I assume that there's actually a lot of you guys that would rather just hear about the multiplayer balances, as that's probably what you focus on playing or what you're more interested in, so this might actually work out a little bit better. Now before I get started real quick, I just want to let you know that the article I'll be reading off of will be linked in the description down below as always, in case you guys want to read along or check it out instead. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. We first have player abilities, and then under that melee. To reduce the effectiveness of repeated melees against tougher enemies, player melee attacks can now be interrupted by enemy attacks. Challenge tracking, biotic tech, and combat detonation challenges now update on the challenges screen. Lance and throw will now successfully increment the biotic detonation combo challenge progress. Stealth Grid fixed an issue that caused Stealth Grid to deactivate immediately after being used. And then Biotic Ascension fixed an issue that prevented the Kineticist from gaining Biotic Ascension charges when not the host of the match. Now onto weapons, we have a little description here that says, generally we found that semi-automatic assault rifles and pistols are underperforming when compared to their automatic counterparts. We've increased the damage per round for most of these guns and fixed bugs that limited the rate of fire for semi-automatic weapons. So for auto rifles here first, we have the Matic, fixed an issue that prevented the Matic from reaching its designed rate of fire, lowered damage per round to partially offset increase in rate of fire, lowered damage per round from 71 through 89 to 50 through 63, increased spare ammo capacity from 112 through 140 to 160 through 200. Next we have the Sandstorm, increased damage per round from 112 through 134 to 140 through 168. For the Sweeper, we have increased damage per round from 60 through 72 to 64 through 77. For the Valkyrie, we have increased damage per round from 80 through 93 to 86 through 99. And then for the Halberd, we have increased damage per round from 73 through 90 to 92 through 113. Onto the pistols now, starting with the Predator. It says the Predator also benefits from the rate of fire adjustment applied to the Matic assault rifle. Increased damage per round from 38 through 51 to 54 through 72. Decreased rate of fire from 500 to 450. For the Carnifex, we have increased damage per round from 155 through 195 to 175 through 220. For the Hornet, we have increased damage per round from 37 through 49 to 44 through 55. For the Phalanx, we have increased damage per round from 106 through 113 to 133 through 142, my apologies. And then the Scorpion, we have increased damage per round from 428 through 512 to 485 through 580. Onto the shotguns, there's only one here. We have the Hesh. It is ammo increased from 40 through 50 to 60 through 75. Now the sniper rifles, we have the Shadow, increased damage per round from 27 through 32 to 38 through 46. The Indra, we have increased damage per round from 84 through 101 to 105 through 126. The Vanquisher, we have fixed a bug that caused the Vanquisher to have an extra 100% headshot bonus. Then we have general weapon balances, but only one of them. It is for weapon reloads, fixed some timings of reload actions so they better match their animations. Now onto boosters, we also only have one. We have Assault Rifle Amp 3. The Assault Rifle Amp 3 booster now properly states that it gives a 30% boost instead of a 35% boost. This was a text error only. The functionality was always 30%. We're now moving on to enemies, starting here with the Ket. We first have Ket Anointed. Players can no longer avoid damage by standing up against a firing Anointed. Ket Ascendant. Ket Ascendant's orb will now give 15 points when killed instead of points equal to the Ascendant himself. And then we have the Ket Behemoth, which is a boss objective. Behemoths are more likely to target nearby players. Moving on now to Outlaw, there's a description here that says the Outlaws have greatly been easier to fight than other factions, so we've closed the gap. While Remnant Observers and Ket Anointed are effective at pushing players into cover, Sharpshooters needed improvements to get players to hide. Across the rest of the palette, changes to targeting and the Hydra's sync attack help keep the Outlaws competitive. So beginning here with Outlaw AD no longer attempts to chain the sync attacks. Outlaw Agent's holographic clone will no longer give points. Outlaw, Sharpshooter, quite a bit here for these guys. Sharpshooters now fire more frequently, especially against targets out of cover. Sniper rifle damage increased by 44%. Sharpshooters sprint more often. Aiming time is now shortened at shorter ranges. Aiming and impact audio are now clearer, and no longer pursue melee targets over long distances. Then for Outlaw Berserker, we have Berserkers are more likely to target nearby players. And finally, with the Outlaw Hydra, Sync Attack is now lethal. Hydra is more likely to target nearby players. Hydra now lose their target, but no longer cancel firing when their target cloaks while locking on, and fix situations where the Hydra's body would reappear after being destroyed. Now we're getting into the final portion of the balances here, and it is with the Remnant enemy type. There's a description here that says, we found that the Observer was a little too good at its job, often leaving players feeling totally pinned down. This could be frustrating when another Observer flanked the player or when a Nullifier attacked. At the same time, the Nullifier felt like a nuisance, but one that was easy to counter in many situations. To address these issues, we've reduced the damage observers inflict and how long they fire for. We've reworked the Nullifier to make its main weapon more powerful but less frequent against players in cover. The Nullifier is also more likely to stand its ground, helping it to control the space. Repeated melee should now be a less dominant strategy against Nullifiers. So we first have Remnant Observer. Observers can now lose their target while firing when the target cloaks. Maximum beam duration decreased from 6 seconds to 5 seconds, and beam damage decreased by 10%. For the Remnant Nullifier, we have rate of fire has been decreased against enemies in cover. Projectile attacks now travel faster and hit harder. Stays still and fires in more situations. No longer flees in protracted melee situations. And for single player only, fires less frequently on lower difficulties. Then we have the Remnant Destroyer. Destroyers are more likely to target nearby players and fix situations where the Destroyer's body and turrets would reappear after being destroyed. So there you go, guys. Those are all of the multiplayer balance updates that came with patch 1.05. If you have any questions or would like to give your opinion on any of these changes, go ahead and post in the comment section. I'm actually really curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on the current state of the game and the direction that the developers are taking this game in terms of multiplayer based on the changes that they made with this patch. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys have enjoyed or found it helpful, feel free to drop a like on it down below and subscribe for many more Mass Effect Andromeda videos to come. Thanks for watching, everyone, and peace out.